just wanna ball. Diamond wrist drip, slip through the pitfalls. I just wanna chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride, I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy, I need to succeed. Know what I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line? It don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash. Money sounds on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. Art of success, if I dub it, is that. As dinners in fact guarantee for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream through outer space. I'm a star baby boo, better watch the race. And you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break. Except all the bread we make with two hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go hand up baloney. Niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb. And not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your rain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. We were the fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb. And not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. In a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we get it together. She love show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we get it together. She love show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold it right there.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect
What is going on, folks? What is going on? Welcome back to After Further Review, episode 92. I am your co-host, James Brown.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I'm your hated co-host, Malin. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Doing very good. Very, very good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. You know what I just noticed about our intros? I never give my last name.
That is true.
One of my first. I don't trust people. My last name.
You should keep it that way,
Malin.
man.
Malin's all they get.
I mean, you do wish nukes upon people's cities, so it's probably best that you don't be giving out your last name to
You know,
people.
first of all, I've done that like 3 times. And I don't actually have the button. I don't know who you'd be more scared about, the fact that Biden has the button or I don't have the button. I don't know.
First of all, with his dementia,
I
he
don't
probably
have
doesn't
the button.
remember that he has the button, so we're all fine.
No, it's fine. Probably thinks we're celebrating Father's Day on Monday. No, that's fine. We're not getting political. Let's talk sports, people. Let's talk sports.
So
Let's
that's
have
a
some fun.
rant.
Joe, it's Monday.
My own
So-
mother's about to come outside
Taco-
and scold me here.
Taco Tuesday. Monday.
This is a sports show.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
We tend to focus on the NFL and the NBA, which is what we plan on doing this episode, but no promises. So before we get any further, we are going to take our opening shot.
Oh, yeah. So is this lemon juice this week, there, Jalen?
No, we're back to good old Espolón tequila as this show.
Jesus Christ.
Should-
Mother tequila. Okay. I know what this means. Tequila.
That is the the stuff of champs right there.
No. Champs and horrible
Yeah.
mistakes.
Whenever you two drink tequila, there's at least 3 times where both of you start uncontrollably laughing, and I have to bring us to the next topic.
And if you know anything about the show, anytime Millen is trying to guide the show, we are at a very bad stage of the show.
Oh, we are driftwood at that
Yep.
point.
Oh.
If I'm guiding the ship, it's already broken apart, and we're just hanging on. We're just
One little piece
trying
of
to find land.
that driftwood.
So
Folks,
You have yet to say anything about sports so far since we started the show.
we are not the only show on this YouTube channel. There's obviously this one. There's a bunch of other shows like Bush League Podcast, Uncensored Mics. Pretty sure those are the only 2 shows that are also currently going right now. So at least want to mention. But yeah, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do. You can keep up with this show and all the rest of them. Our show live streams every Wednesday at 9:30 in the evening Eastern Time. So come on out, join the live chat where we've got friends like G Money in there holding it down as he does every single week. We will actually, as long as everything goes smoothly, no technological issues, we will have G Money joining us in the second half of the show.
Fingers crossed.
Can't wait for that. You can also see
no promises with that.
you can also see our friendly neighborhood Nestor in the chat from time to time.
Say that like he's
Man,
Spider-Man.
you just made him sound like a stray cat on a sidewalk.
He's a Dolphins fan, so
You can do whatever you want with that information.
If you just heard what you just said, friendly neighborhood Nestor, you close your eyes, you picture like an orange-haired, mangly-looking cat
I
With the
mean,
Dolphins
roaming
hat
the
on.
neighborhood.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what you have to look forward to in this chat. So
But yet he comes after me every week. You know, I'm not the one calling him a homeless cat, but he comes after me every week. That's
I think that's it for mentioning stuff. So if you do want to enjoy all of that, it's the first link down in your podcast description. So go right ahead. So let's start off with some of the stuff that's been going on in the NBA. we're still here. Now that no idea how that happened. Yeah, so now that free agency is wide open and some trades are happening, yeah, I figured we would talk about what's currently going on. We had some very big bombshell news that happened, pretty sure the day after our previous episode. So timing is always fun. But Durant requesting a trade out of Brooklyn, that came out of completely nowhere. What were your guys' first thoughts hearing that? Shaq, we'll start with you.
This is the reason he got a nickname by many people of the Snake. This man has felt the need to. He's overstood his welcome mentally. He no longer wants to do the whole Kyrie thing. So let me go ahead and finish my way to a team that I could probably get an easy ring with, or already on their way to a championship. This is what I feel like where he's at. He thought Brooklyn was it when he was getting, of course, Kyrie. He was getting James Harden. He realized that wasn't working out, so he's like, let me find another team that's already just about fully put together. So we'll see what kind of already all-star team he associates himself with. So, Snake.
Yes. Go ahead, Malin.
I want you to picture this with me. You got a life raft out in the middle of the ocean. You got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and broken back Ben Simmons on this raft.
I forget he's even there.
Everybody has decided Kyrie Irving is supposed to kill himself. He has a gun, he's supposed to shoot himself. He decides to not do that and opts in to stand in the raft. The moment he does that, Kevin Durant says, fuck it, I'll swim with the sharks. That's basically what happened. The day after Kyrie Irving says, I'm opting in, I'm getting my money, I'm staying with Brooklyn, Kevin Durant said, deuces, bitches, I'm gone. I'm not dealing with this joker anymore. He was like, I am done with your flat earth, believing, non-vaccinated, don't want to play basketball ass. Because he wants to win championships. I don't even think that basketball is number 3 on the priorities in Kyrie Irving's life. But basketball still is the number 1 priority in Kevin Durant's life. And he realizes that he hitched his bed to the wrong wagon. And so it's better for him now to go ahead and, cut the ties and move on rather than keep trying to pull a Brooklyn team to a championship where one of the other biggest stars doesn't want to really play and the other one is scared to play psychologically. That would be Ben Simmons. So I don't really blame him for wanting out. I mean, the only thing worse than making a mistake is living in that mistake because you don't want to admit you made one. And him requesting a trade is kind of admitting that he made a mistake. So
I remember when when Harden first got to Brooklyn and that really assembled the super team. Shaq and I back then had said this is either going to go really, really well or just complete disaster and it's going to fall apart. And
within one season.
Yeah, more or less. It fell apart. I think they won one playoff series when they beat the Celtics last year.
They won one, and I think they played a total of 17 games together.
Yeah.
The three of them.
17 completely games. Asinine.
And in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, on paper, they were supposed to be that team, the ideal team. And unfortunately, there were multiple teams on paper look good. Between the Nets and, the Lakers. You look at it, it's like, there's no way we do not see these teams go for the long haul. One of them didn't even make playoffs. The second one got bounced a hella fast. So it's kind of like...
crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
I mean, you think about the collection of talent with Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving. The amount of MVPs, just the talent, the shooting, not a whole lot of defense, but the talent and shooting. It's probably one of the biggest failures of any given team.
Oh yeah.
To not make it, to not even make it to the finals. Because I don't know about you guys, but I would think that if you had Harden, Durant, and Kyrie Irving, that is at least close, if not better. Well, actually, I think it is better than LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Yet people crucify Miami for losing in the finals, Dallas, and losing in the finals, San Antonio, and they only won 2 out of 4 years.
Mhm.
And people think that big three was a failure. This big three didn't even get out of the second round.
Right.
This big three didn't even play together in the playoffs, period. It has to go down as one of the biggest failures of a team.
Yeah. I was just about to go there. Imagine if LeBron went to Miami and they didn't win anything, and then after 3 years he says, "I want out." He would have been torn in half.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
without a doubt. And the fact that this is just kind of almost nonchalant. I mean, yes, it's big news, but it also brings up something else. Do you guys think the NBA has a problem with this sort of players demanding their way out of what should be long-term deals, and they just kind of go wherever they want?
Yeah, I think there's a problem with they bounce around from team to team to team to find an ideal situation instead of finding a team and making an ideal situation around themselves. And I think they hold different players to different standards. Like even LeBron, it's like that one ring may have saved him, but they still ridiculed this man for not making playoffs last season, even though just last year or the year before this man won a ring with the same team with the bubble ring. But I was like, with KD, do they
it's
judge
not
him
the same.
Yeah, they don't judge him as bad as they judge LeBron for his lack of team success.
And the difference is that a lot of people say that LeBron James is the one that gave power to the players, right?
Mhm.
Yes, Boston created the big three, but that was Danny Ainge putting that team together.
Right.
But LeBron James was the biggest catalyst, even though he was the last person to join Miami. Chris Bosh actually signed before LeBron James did, but it was actually Dwayne Wade that recruited LeBron James. Everyone blames LeBron James is creating this. The only difference is LeBron James has won everywhere he's gone since he left Cleveland initially. Kevin Durant won a couple titles, but then he went to Brooklyn. Nothing. Kyrie Irving went to Boston. Jesus, Jalen, you and I know how that landed.
Thanks, Kyrie.
Then he goes to Brooklyn. James Harden was traded to Houston, but then he went to Brooklyn, and now he's with Philly. You have, Anthony Davis forced his way out. He did win one title. But by and large, these players that are changing teams, they're not, for all of the freedom that they have, none of them are as successful as LeBron James has been. And I think the reason why that is because I don't think people give LeBron James enough credit for creating his own situations.
Right.
Not just jumping to a team, but being like a co-GM of that team and helping dictate who's going to be on that roster, the personnel. And a lot of people, like Shaq said, they're crucifying LeBron James right now because they didn't make the playoffs last year. How long has LeBron James been in the league? He missed on one. Russell Westbrook, he missed on one person that he's wanted on his squad. He's missed on. LeBron James is so good that Kyrie Irving wants to play with him again. Okay. So I think that people need to be giving LeBron James a little bit more credit for what he's been able to do over the last 12 years. And other than that, I really think that most of the stars, we keep thinking that all these stars are leaving. Not a lot of them are. Some of them get traded. Like Kyrie, didn't Kyrie get traded? He wanted a trade. He got sent to Toronto, and then he went to.
Oh, you mean Kawhi?
Kawhi, yeah. And then
Yeah.
then he went to LA. He kind of forced his way out. He won a ring in Toronto, but he hasn't done anything in LA. Paul George has been trying to chase a ring forever. That hasn't worked out for him.
Right.
But it's largely been kind of unsuccessful. A lot of these people trying to copy what LeBron James does.
See, my thing about it is LeBron James is the primary reason these teams have won rings for the most part. Whereas KD, the rings that he does have, I feel like he wasn't the primary reason these teams. I feel like the teams that KD has won rings with could have possibly won rings without him per se. That's what I'm saying. It's like exactly this last year was a primary example of it. It's like you think Steph would have still gotten his couple of chips without KD on the team, but these couple other teams that LeBron has been on probably wouldn't have gotten their chips without LeBron. That's the only difference, is that these teams needed LeBron, whereas these teams didn't need KD to do what they did.
Do you guys agree with what Draymond Green said, though, in thinking that Golden State wouldn't have won those titles without Kevin Durant?
I don't agree with that. I feel like they could have done it without Kevin Durant.
At that time period, like when LeBron was in Cleveland with Kyrie and Kevin Love, I
personally think they could have won. I think it would have been more difficult. I think it would have been a lot like that 3-1 series that they ended up losing.
Right.
I don't think it would have been, because the 2 years that they beat LeBron James with Kevin Durant, it was kind of like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much of a resistance there. So I still think that they probably would. I think they would have been a lot more evenly matched. I think Kevin Durant definitely tipped the scales to where it was kind of a foregone conclusion going into that finals that Golden State was going to win. But with that said, like, where do you guys think that KD's going to go, if he goes anywhere at all?
That is, of course, the big question.
It's hard to say.
G Money is saying Phoenix and Miami can't give Brooklyn what they would want for KD. And what exactly are you going to get for Kyrie?
Like I said, as much as I'm a Heat fan, I don't see him going to the Heat, unfortunately. And I don't necessarily agree. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. It's like, I love KD. I would love to see him on my team, but I don't necessarily see him meshing with Miami as much as he would. You'd want to. I don't know how beneficial it'd be for the team chemistry to have KD on our team.
I have a feeling that he's gonna.
Wait, go ahead, Jalen.
I'll make it quick. I have a feeling he's gonna stay in Brooklyn because I don't know. Like G Money is saying, like, is there a title contender out there right now that wants to give up a bunch of pieces to bring him in? I don't see that. And then why would he want to go to some little team where they could have him, but he's just completely irrelevant? So,
they want 1 All-Star and 4 first-round picks. Now, judging off of what we're going to talk about later in this show with some of these other goddamn trades that have happened, that's actually a steal. If that's what they get.
The next piece.
But I mean, I don't know. Like Phoenix can't afford to give away Booker, who they just signed to a max, or Chris Paul. I think they would be in the same situation because they don't have the depth around them to really be able to do a title push. So I don't think Phoenix makes a whole lot of sense. Miami, though, gotta ask you, Shaq. If Miami were to offer up Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant, 4 first-round picks, would you take that? Would you take that Miami squad with Kevin Durant instead of Jimmy Butler? Now, don't be stupid.
No, I would love to have Kevin Durant, but like I love also working through Butler right now. We almost I know almost doesn't count, but we almost got a chip with the squad and working through Butler as kind of like the forefront person. And with working through KD now, I feel that changes a whole lot of team chemistry and working through and everything. Whereas Butler was good at facilitating through other players and everything, where KD is going to be that now primary scorer. He's going to be that take ball first, score first type of person. So it's kind of like now that changes everything. in my
So
opinion.
that's cute.
Alright.
Jalen, let me ask you. This last series, do you think that Boston beats Miami if you take out Jimmy Butler and you put in Kevin Durant?
I still think we beat them.
Still think we beat them?
Yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
we went through Brooklyn to get to that point. I mean, we just completely shut them down.
Brooklyn doesn't have the coaching. They don't have the depth. They don't have the defense. They don't have the team that Miami has. That was pretty much Kevin Durant or bust when it came to Brooklyn.
My thing with KD though, you know he's gonna miss significant time in the regular season. So it's like, if he's not there to play, who else on that roster in Miami is gonna get the job done to have them in a good seed come the postseason?
Now here's another question for you guys. Go ahead and rewind back to 2020. You're in the bubble. A healthy Kevin Durant on Miami instead of Jimmy Butler. Is that a better series?
Yes,
Against the Lakers?
absolutely.
I mean, come on. So
I
I
would love to
think
see
that
that.
people get so in love with the stars that they have, not necessarily realizing that the other star is actually brighter. And I think that people have lessened Kevin Durant's stardom because of his decision to go to Brooklyn. But he's still a top 5 player in the game, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he hasn't necessarily missed a ton of time the last few years compared to a lot of other stars. I mean, shit, Devin Booker. I mean, Jesus Christ. Even Jimmy Butler missed time. I mean, Steph Curry missed time over the last couple of years. Klay Thompson, like a bunch of people have missing time. LeBron James has been missing time that he ever has. People forget that Kawhi Leonard's even in the league right now. I think that Kevin Durant makes any team instantly better. The only thing that gives me a cautionary tale about Kevin Durant is that he's on the record saying that he doesn't want to be a leader. He'll give you all the talent in the world, but he's not the leader that some teams want him to be.
Which is why Golden State works so well for him. But anyway.
Yeah, because Steph Curry got all the shine, and he was fine with that.
Right. Spent a lot of time on KD, so let's pick up the pace here on these next few. So, another huge trade here. So, the Utah Jazz traded Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves for a slew of different players and four first-round draft picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 4. 4 players, 4 picks, all for Rudy Gobert to Minnesota.
I do not think it was a good trade-off for the Timberwolves, honestly.
I heard Nick Wright say this earlier today. This is like the perfect embodiment of this. This is like it's Valentine's Day, and your neighbor pulls up in a Mercedes-Benz for his wife, and every single dude on the block looks outside and sees that and goes, "What the hell?" Now all of our wives are going to sit here and see this damn Mercedes-Benz and say, "Well, what did you get me?"
Exactly. You look at it, it was like, my opinion, what do the Timberwolves now have left to like fill the roster and surround Rudy Gobert to make their team really
I mean, the players that they gave up are just kind of, it's the picks to me.
That's what I'm saying. They lose their potential for more like weapons and things going on out of all that. It's kind of like, all right, you better hope this roster works out the way it is now, because we definitely ain't feeling that shit.
They're definitely swinging for the fences.
But they have to, though.
Yeah.
Right? It's Minnesota. What free agent is going to sign with Minnesota? The only way that they get good players is through the draft, trading for them. They got Karl Anthony Towns. They want to keep him. they were terrible on defense. Now, I can't look at Gobert and not think of COVID because he was the one dumbass in 2020 licking microphones and shit. So I think he has the IQ of a squirrel. But he's talented. I think he is good. I think he's going to make the team better now. The only problem is that Minnesota is they're in the position of all these small market teams. Like, what are they going to do? They can't attract free agents. No big free agents are going to go to them. They have to draft, but through the draft, by the time they drafted someone else that was worth anything, Karl Anthony Towns would just sign with somebody else. So they have to try to make a splash to create some sort of team that's going to get him to want to stay. But at the same token, they're in the West, and they won in the play-in to get into playoffs this last year. Do they now become like a 6th seed? Like they basically need to play out of their minds
Yep.
and hope that everybody else is riddled with injuries to have a shot. But I think that's the best that Minnesota can do, and that's kind of sad in the current state of the NBA. With the type of power that players have, this is what happens. Half the league is not really going to be a serious contender. That is a lot to give up for Gobert.
Yeah, it is a big team too. I mean, you're praying like Ant-Man, Cat, and Gobert are like just playing out of their minds all year long. So we'll see. It would be really cool to see the Timberwolves, be a contender, but I don't know.
Malik Beasley was the only person that they actually traded that I actually knew was in the NBA. He was the only one. The other 3 could have been substitute teachers in a school district that I don't know
of. Shout out to Zach in the chat. He says KD ain't going anywhere. To get KD, any team will have to move many assets, causing lack of depth in KD's next team. Zach, I am 100% in agreement with you, my dude.
They only want one player. I don't understand that. They want one player and then picks. Not giving up a bunch of people. Oh no. Zach. Cool.
Next piece of news here. Zion, Shaq's best friend,
All right.
signing a massive extension with the Pelicans. 5 years, $193 million. He could make up to $231 million if he makes either an All NBA team, wins MVP, or Defensive Player of the Year. So if either one of those things happen, or any one of those 3 things happen, he could make quite a bit more money. Shaq, you getting a cut of that as his agent?
I hope so. My only thing about it is like I feel like if as long as he stays healthy this year, he's worth every penny of it. But like that's always with Zion, as we see, it's always a big if for this health problem. I don't know if it's. We'll see. This man would do fine a day in the first beginning of the season. All of a sudden, boom, this man can't play the rest of the year, and then it's kind of like we're paying this man a lot of fucking money to ride the bench, and that's some heavy material in that bench where we holding up Zion. But like, my opinion is, like I said, if you can stay moderately healthy throughout most of the season, it's worth every single penny for Zion. I feel for a healthy Zion. That's all I got to say.
Malin?
Okay. One, what were the trade details again that you said?
5 years, $193 million, or $230 million max if he hits those MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, or All NBA team.
Yeah, that's. Anyone really think he's going to make an All NBA team?
Yeah, maybe like 3rd, 4th All NBA.
I mean, maybe.
Which I don't think it counts.
Maybe if you take what he does in 3 years and combine that into an actual season, maybe. All right. Second thing, Jalen, I want you to turn to your right, and I want you to look at Shaq. Just want you to look at him. Tell me those two weren't separated at birth. Look at them goddamn foreheads. The two of them. Both of them together. Goddamn twins. They're twins. The only thing between Zion and Shaq is one's blown out sneakers and has $193 million. We're friends with the wrong Zion, man. God damn it. It's ridiculous. All right. So number 3 is, I mean, this man in 3 years played 84 games and just got $193 million guaranteed. I wish that I could have the same dumb luck as him.
My job
I
can't
don't even
continue
know
to
that
promise you 36 hours a week, much less.
I mean, the highlight reels for this man over the last 2 years is dunking on 12-year-olds in a basketball camp. I mean, but again, just like Minnesota, New Orleans is a smaller market team in a city that is ruled by football with the New Orleans Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They've had Drew Brees since 2005. Okay. 2005, 2006. They need somebody that can sell tickets. Them giving him this contract is more of like lifeboat, prayer, a flare, firework of please God stay healthy so that we can have some sort of a spark so that we can sell tickets and get butts in seats.
Yeah.
Because if he is healthy with him and McCollum, that could be a really good team.
Yeah.
If he was healthy.
And BI.
Healthy. Yep. Yes. And Brandon Ingram. Those three could be a really strong force in the West if he could be healthy. But the problem is he hasn't been healthy. And there's zero evidence to suggest that we'll stay healthy. So, I don't know. I mean, good for him. That's a lot of money. Garrett. Jesus. I'd like some. Could dunk on a 12-year-old.
Real quick, Zach asks, if you're the Bucks GM, would you agree for a Kyrie Drew Holiday swap?
No.
Jesus. If I'm the Bucks GM?
No. The Bucks are doing just fine. It's not a matter of why they struggling now, need to rearrange their team. I feel like their team is really doing okay. I feel like Kyrie is more of a toxin more than a help to a lot of teams.
I forgot about that part.
This man's burning sage in a fucking arena.
The only team that I think that Kyrie would be a benefit to would be the Lakers. That's because I think that LeBron James is a strong enough personality. I think Kyrie knows that the best years he ever had in the NBA were playing with LeBron James, that he would toe the line. I don't think you have a personality on any other team in the NBA that could keep Kyrie from being Kyrie. And if you put him in Milwaukee, you're only going to further institutionalize the man into thinking the earth is flat. I mean, it's Milwaukee, for God's sakes. I mean, he would just believe it even more. But no, Drew Holiday is good enough in Milwaukee. You don't need a Kyrie headache. I don't think that Giannis has the type of leadership or personality to keep somebody in line like that. I don't know if you guys...
He would look at Kyrie and just scratch his head every day.
Exactly. I feel that
he would just be dumbfounded.
Yeah, I don't care about his skill set. That would further hinder this team to add Kyrie to that roster.
You never hear anything about Drew Holiday.
Exactly.
Nothing.
In that locker room would be the most dreadful scenario to see. I would like to be a fly on the wall of Kyrie and Giannis in that locker room. Man's like, what the fuck is this man talking about?
Like, Giannis would just be like, you're really stupid.
Giannis like we ain't getting
you're just
ring.
not a smart person. Like, that would be the start of the conversation. Like, you're just not intelligent.
He's like, we ain't getting another ring with this man. I'm going ahead and leave.
Yeah, Giannis would leave. He'd be requesting a trade. Day after he got traded to Milwaukee would be the day that Giannis would be like, I'm out, people. Sign me.
Send me to Brooklyn.
he would pull a Kevin Durant. These bitches.
G Money is also just saying he's kind of comparing Zion and Embiid. Embiid early in his career, same kind of problems, very injury prone. So he's basically saying if Zion gets serious, it might be worth it for New Orleans, like Embiid has these past couple of years.
Yeah, but Embiid was serious about playing basketball. That's the only thing.
He was. It was literally just injury. Zion, it seems like
you see the passion in Embiid even now when he plays. He plays through pain. Like, if anyone thinks that Embiid is healthy anytime he steps on the court, he's not. He's like the next Bill Walton, only like 40 years later. He's always hurting when he plays. But it kind of seems like Zion looks for reasons to be out of the lineup, and he has like the weirdest damn injuries that he can't get past.
I got indigestion
every night. All right, next one. This one's a real doozy. DeJounte Murray traded to the Atlanta Hawks for Danilo Gallinari and 3 first-round picks. Spurs gave up their best player so that they can tank this coming year, and the Hawks now have a great guard to go alongside Trae Young. For me, if I'm the Hawks, I'm saying, okay, all right. Thank you, San Antonio. Spurs, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but good luck.
I think the Hawks have made one of the better moves so far this postseason when it comes to trades and everything. I think they'll benefit the most out of all these teams.
Are you kidding me?
I think they'll benefit more than Minnesota with Gobert? Or with Zion long term now?
Okay. I think they might.
Okay.
Yes, I think they'll benefit more.
All right.
True or false? Before this last year, did you two even know Javonte Murray was in the NBA?
I did, but I know that he wasn't really doing much on the Spurs.
It took him 5 years. It took him 5 years to become an all-star.
He's Isaiah Thomas's cousin. Season. Not Isaiah Thomas, but little IT.
Oh, little IT. Well, that's degrading. That's Jesus.
He's like 5'9".
So Jalen's picking on short people now.
Okay.
Apparently, this is a show of record for hating on midgets. But, anyways, no, it took him 5 years to become an all-star. So I wouldn't say he's a great point guard. I think he's good.
No.
I wouldn't say he's great, and they still gave up 3 first-round picks. I mean, so I don't know. What I think this is going to do for Atlanta is this going to do what it does for all these other middle-of-the-road teams, especially Minnesota. They're going to be just good enough to make the playoffs and get swept or bounced out by a gentleman's sweep, and you're never going to have a lottery pick, and Trae Young's going to leave anyways. I mean, the last time that Atlanta was truly relevant was back in the 80s with Dominique Wilkins. So, I don't know. I think it was a bad trade.
Well,
that sounds like negative, but we're going to see the same 5 or 6 teams unfortunately make late round pushes. We're once again going to see Giannis, the Boston, maybe the Heat. All these same teams go back to the late round pushes next season.
Well, you can't. Okay, but the NBA does change though.
Every 3 years.
Not even that. Like there was.
That sounds about right.
Okay, so Brooklyn was supposed to be world beaters, right? They ever become world beaters?
No, but they weren't world beaters before this. So, once again, the Brooklyn was still Brooklyn after this whole entire.
But okay, the Lakers just won a title back in 2020, and they just missed the playoffs. Oklahoma City was a staple in the playoffs for a decade before they lost their best player.
Yep.
Houston was a Houston was a huge player.
Yeah, every couple years they rotate
when they had Harden.
Yes, and the Lakers' last ring, like you always bring it up, was a very conditional ring with the bubble, and here they are in a regular season, a normal season.
I'm just saying it takes one star to leave, and then you're no longer relevant.
Yeah.
So
it felt like we had a change in the garb not last year, but year before when it was the finals was Milwaukee and Phoenix. Because like suddenly we had the Clippers, the Jazz, the Mavs, the Suns.
Well, the Jazz are no longer going to be a player.
No, my thing.
Right. I'm just saying, like the past couple years, it did take another like big change. Like the normal teams we were used to weren't there.
Okay, but if we're being realistic, the only reason why we had this change in the NBA is because one player decided to leave a team.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that Kevin Durant left the Warriors,
right,
it was wide open for anybody to win. We really not think that Steph and KD would have won a title together when Klay Thompson was hurt? I mean, the balance of power shifted when that happened.
Yeah.
So all it takes for one player to leave, and all of a sudden you suck.
And look, if LeBron leaves the Lakers, nobody gives a fuck about what Lakers are doing next season around. Not to diss all these hardcore Lakers fans, but nobody cares once LeBron leaves. All of a sudden you got AD and Westbrook running the team. Nobody cares. Not to judge Golden State, but if Steph Curry leaves Golden State this offseason during the season, do we see the Golden State hype? No, we do not. We do not care. I'm sorry. If Giannis leaves the Bucks, is the Bucks really the Bucks?
But it's not even about leaving though. Like Dallas is one big injury away from Luka from being a lottery team next year.
Yeah, like
you know if
the Warriors last season when Steph broke his wrist, they were just completely irrelevant.
All of these teams that are staples in the playoffs, it's like your grenade with a pin in it, and that pin is one player. If that one player gets hurt,
but
lottery.
It's not true for all teams. To give y'all credit for once in a while, with Boston, y'all are the most complete team that y'all can lose somebody and still kind of be almost in the same spot that y'all are on.
Not that I want this to be a love affair, but I would say the same thing about Miami. Miami is one of those teams that could lose somebody for an extended period of time and still be good. But those are organizations, though.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
How many of those organizations are out there in the NBA? Name one besides those two.
Not much.
Name a complete team outside of those two that could survive if they lost somebody for an extended period of time.
If Steph wasn't so damn good, Golden State is really well run.
They kind of bottom out, like longevity wise. Maybe they can handle a handful of games without Steph and stay relevant.
Right, but not a whole.
If he found out he's like Kawhi, where he's out for like a whole entire season, that team's done.
Yeah, literally 2 years ago, that was the Warriors.
Yeah, team's done.
I mean, so we always have these teams that we always think is going to be in the mix in the playoffs, but they're one broken ankle away from the lottery, and it's just crazy how the talent is so. One person can change a franchise in a way that is so different from any other sport.
Yes.
Moving on.
Speaking of the
DeJounte
Celtics.
Murray, who I don't think is good.
We spent most of the time not even talking about him in the first place.
Good luck, DeJounte. The Celtics traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting this correctly, 5 players. Okay. 4 of which you probably have never heard of, and a 2023 first round pick to the Pacers for Malcolm Brogdon. It is kind of sad to see Daniel Tice go again. This is the second time he's left the team, but I always thought he was a really good player coming off the bench. But hey, we picked up Malcolm Brogdon in exchange. He's a solid guard, has been for the Indiana Pacers for a little while now. Malin, what do you think of this move?
When you're talking about the 2017 Rookie of the Year, so that was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, to me, DeJounte Murray, you've been a solid player for 5 years. Are you really worth what you're giving up? The only difference between the Atlanta trade and the Boston trade is that Boston gave up a bunch of players that don't really see a lot of playing time anyways.
Yeah.
And even though Boston's my favorite team, I didn't really know any of them except for 2. So I was like, okay. But you get somebody that missed 41 games last year because they had Achilles soreness. Not a tear, but soreness. So they held him out so that it didn't tear. But he missed like half the season. Achilles soreness. So, yeah.
It's sore.
Listen, I'm 41 years old. I get up every day and everything hurts when I still go to work. And I'm not getting paid a fraction of what this motherfucker's making. But has he been a solid guard in the NBA for the last 5 years? Yes. Is there a lot of potential there, just like Javonte Murray? Yes. Does he make the team better? Yes. So I'm fine with the trade. I'm not really all that broken up about who we gave away. We didn't have to give up a lot of draft capital for it, but it doesn't really matter what draft capital we give up anyways, because we're going to be making deep runs in the playoffs regardless. So I mean, I'm fine with it. There's potential, but there's also a lot of hasn't had the career that a lot of people thought he was going to have up until now. So hopefully he can stay healthy, and hopefully he can kind of live up to that first year he had in the NBA.
Yes. We also got Gallinari we're going to get Gallinari from the Spurs. Like we just mentioned, Gallinari got there from the Hawks, and it sounds like the Spurs are just kind of let him go. So we are going to pick him up. I've always liked Gallinari. Unfortunately, he's never been in a championship situation where he's like really there to compete for a chip. So now that we pick him up, I know he's a bit older now, a bit more injury prone, but he can shoot the three ball pretty well. Big dude. I think he'll be a great addition to the team. So yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I think it further solidifies the Celtics as one of the only three real main threats to come out of the East. That would be the Celtics, the Heat, and Milwaukee. Because I do think that if Middleton was healthy in the playoffs, Milwaukee would have put up even more of a fight, and that would have been an even crazier series, and who knows what would have happened. So those three teams are just kind of stacking the deck a little bit, I think, as being the three out of the East. And the West, just God help us, whoever comes out of the West. The West is just ridiculous.
Last but not least, there were some extension signed. Jokic, Cat, Devin Booker all got their Supermax deals. I mean, to me, all that is money well spent. Cat was a little, but man, like you said, it's Minnesota. They had you. There's no possible way that you can give him his money. So
didn't Zach LaVine get a big deal too?
Yes,
Did
Zach
he not
LaVine
get
was
a match?
included in there too. Yep.
You got to keep your big talents. It's kind of what they're thriving on Cat staying there, so they got to pay this man.
Well, all three franchises needed to pay. Now, the fact that you even have a term super max deal is just sounds ridiculous. Here's the super max. Like, Jesus Christ. These people are signing contracts for over $200 million. The NFL's looking at the NBA like, what the bleep? But, I mean, you look at these teams. The Denver Nuggets, right? Minnesota, Phoenix, Chicago even with Zach LaVine. They need to pay more than what the player is worth to be able to keep him.
Yeah.
Now, the Joker is obviously worth his money as the two-time MVP, even though I don't think he should have won the MVP last year. Whatever. And the man seems to be allergic to sweat. Anyone else realize how red that man gets
really
whenever
red.
he's on a basketball court? Like, he turns really red, like a rash breaks out every time he sweats. It's a little disturbing to see. You should see a dermatologist. Legitimately. But maybe with all that money he's making, maybe he'll see one. Because that man's got some heat rashes like nobody I've ever seen. But he really deserved his money. Booker, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still on the fence about Booker. I don't see don't see the killer mentality. I didn't see it in the finals against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think he comes up small on the big stage. I think he has a lot of talent, but I think that if Booker was a little bit more of what everybody thinks he is, I think Phoenix would have done more over the last 2 years. Like, I put a lot more on their failure in the finals and the playoffs, more on him than anybody else on the team. Not even Chris Paul, even though after he turned 37, he only averaged 9.7 points a game because he's old, like me. But I don't know. So, but you have to pay him to keep him.
Right.
Those are small markets outside of Chicago. Chicago is a big market, but they're not exactly getting free agents to come there, which is kind of weird because Chicago is a big market. But when was the last time they had a really big free agent?
Jesus.
Sign there for a super max. They got screwed the moment Derrick Rose tore his knee up.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, folks, on that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, actually, my bad. I forgot we're still the news. I thought that was in the second
I
half of
was
the show.
about to say, it's like,
We still got some stuff to talk about.
I was like, did we run through the news already? Goddamn.
That felt like the news, but it was not the news.
We still got 3 topics.
Yes.
Today's top stories
All right,
and
folks.
breaking news.
For the news this week, we are going to start off in college football. So this was all the rage. USC and UCLA will be leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten at some point over the next couple of years. That was a huge splash. And now the new rumor is Notre Dame also going to follow in their footsteps and join the Big Ten. Malin, I'm of course going to start with you here. What do you think about this?
Well, the Pacific Coast Conference, known as the PAC, that was the PAC, then the PAC-8, the PAC-10, then the PAC-12, it started in 1915. And it kind of seems like this is going to be the death of the conference that I grew up loving, being a Washington Husky fan. I believe that Fox orchestrated this whole thing.
Shit.
I think that going into their TV rights negotiations with the Big Ten, the reason why they were supposed to have a deal in place in April, and then they stalled. And I think the reason why they stalled is because the Big Ten Fox told the Big Ten, hey, if we get these California schools in here, we'll be able to give you up to $100 million a team. Okay? Now, a year. So USC and UCLA have been making about $30 million a year under the current TV rights with the Pac-12. By joining the Big Ten, they're going to get $75 to $100 million right off the bat. USC has been relevant, but not as good as what they were under the Pete Carroll years. But they've always been a flagship. They joined in 1922. UCLA joined in 1928. They're going to be fine in the Big Ten. What really makes me sad is, what happens to the rest of the schools, Pac-12.
Right.
They were in a Power 5 conference. Are they going to be able to stay in a Power 5 conference? Are they going to be able to do enough? So I don't think that Notre Dame is going to join anyone right now. If Notre Dame can still get the type of TV money they can from NBC to stay independent, I think they're going to stay independent. But now the Pac-12 is left really wondering, like, what do we do? We have 10 people, and we just lost the number one media market in the country, which is going to diminish what they're going to get in a TV contract, which they're trying to solidify right now. So the two biggest teams left in the Pac-12 are Oregon and the University of Washington. Because if you think about the last 40 years in the Pac-12, 3 teams have been huge. USC, Oregon, and Washington. One of which has never won a national championship. That might be Oregon. That's why their logo is a 0 or an O. Depends on who you ask. I'm concerned about my Washington Huskies because they need to hitch their wagon to somebody at this point, I believe. I don't think the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it's going to survive. So some of them might go to the Big 12. You might end up with a super conference with the Big 12, but the Big 12 is already losing Texas and Oklahoma, so they don't really have a whole lot of big teams. It just kind of seems like college football is aiming towards two power conferences, Big 10 and the SEC, and whoever can get into those two conferences, you're going to be elite. If you don't, then you're not going to be elite. And it scares me a little bit because this is all TV money that's driving all of this. So in 5 years, are we going to have these TVs like ESPN and Fox declaring who the national champion is based upon who wins in these super conferences? So college football is in a mess with the NIL, the name, image, and likeness, the type of way that people are abusing that. The transfer portal. Now you got all these people jumping conferences. College football is just like a bunch of monkeys trying to hump a football right now. Like, it's just a big fucking mess. So, I don't know. But it's sad to me because my favorite team that has the number 17 recruiting class in the country right now is scrambling to try to keep that class and to try to keep their relevance. And they've been in the Pac-10 since 1915. So there's a lot of history going down the tubes all in the name of money for these universities that still are not giving it back to the players, which is bullshit. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like, at the end of the day, it just seems like it's gonna just be the SEC and the Big 10. Like, this, it's gonna be the two super conferences, and whatever happens to the rest of them, it's up in the air. Who knows? Like, it's kind of a scary thing for all those other schools that are out there because, you know, money talks and bullshit walks. So if you're not in those two conferences, if you're not playing on national TV every other weekend, do they care? It seems like not really. So it's kind of sad.
I think the only big teams that I can think of off the top of my head that are not in those two conferences right now, okay, would be University of Washington, University of Oregon, Stanford, I think is a really good school.
Okay.
Notre Dame, who's an independent, but then you also have the ACC, so you have like Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, Miami.
State, yeah.
I think that all of those schools that I just named are going to end up in one of those two conferences in the next 4 years. There might be some merger with the Pac-12 and the Big 12 initially for a couple years, but you're going to end up with a lot of colleges like an Oregon State, a Washington State, an Arizona State, North Carolina State that are going to be left out, and they were Power 5 teams. Now they won't be. And, you know, the Big 10 can get rid of some teams to make room for others. Like, you got some teams like Indiana. Hell has Indiana done in football? Illinois? What have they done lately? You know what I mean? So there's some teams like Vanderbilt in the SEC, Kentucky in the SEC. You got some schools that have not been pulling their weight inside of the two major conferences that are in there now that might even be on the outside looking in when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I can see the SEC looking at FSU and saying, hey, we can go ahead and kick out Kentucky over here if you want to hop in and take their spot. Just because, I mean, who would rather see FSU over fucking Kentucky? So it's about to get a little weird here the next few years.
I think Clemson is probably the biggest one out there. Clemson and Oregon right now, like football related, probably the two biggest that are in these conferences that probably need a home. But I mean, Washington is number 12 media market, so they'll find a place eventually. But Miami, damn, I don't know.
It's funny. Crazy. Like there's those few teams that they'll find a home pretty quick, or those few schools that'll find a home pretty quick. But then there's the slew of the rest of them that's like, what happens at that point? Do they just fizzle out and they're independent?
Well, I think that you're going to end up, like I said, like a school like Washington State, Oregon State, North Carolina State, schools like that. I think they're going to end up in conferences like the Mountain West, and they're going to be just like a Boise State in a few years. And that's really kind of unfair to some of those schools because Washington State now, I hate Washington State Cougars with a passion. That's a place that I would drop a nuke on, Shaq. Legitimately, Spokane, nobody would miss it. Pullman, Washington, fuck them. But they've been more relevant the last 2 to 3 years in college football than USC has.
Wow.
Especially UCLA. UCLA has not been relevant
in
football in decades. Yet USC gets to jump the conference, basically kill these schools that were better than them in the Pac-12 the last few years. It's going to kill their recruiting and the money that they're going to get to put back into their program. So, it's kind of crazy. Very wild.
Any thoughts on this, Shaq?
Just basically what y'all covering. Money does talk, and that's a big difference I feel between college and the NFL, where the NFL probably did the same regardless of what's really going on. Unless the NFL decides to add a random team here or there in the next couple of years. But like college football, it switches up depending on where the money's going and where things are going. And unfortunately, that may not say there's a disservice to the students per se, because it kind of affects the students on they're not getting paid and their money's and their school's making a hell bank off of their performance going there. So,
well, and it's not even just the athletes that are affected; it's everyone that goes to the university.
Yeah.
If you go to one of these universities, like one of the things you go there for is the atmosphere on the campus and the sports and the pageantry of it all, and being able to be a part of that. And if these schools were in a Power 5 conference and now all of a sudden they're not, like the experience is not going to be the same.
That's a
everybody
drastic
involved.
difference.
Yeah. And so the fact that two schools can change the lives of hundreds of thousands of other people in other schools in the conference is just crazy. Those two schools are in LA, and it's the number one media market in the country, and it's all about TV money now.
Yeah, if you go to Oregon, for example, you could have a friend that went there the year before you, and they're like, "Man, it was a blast. It was great. It was this and that." And then you go there the next year, and you're like, "Man, this felt completely different," and it has nothing to do with your school directly.
And Oregon is one of those schools that's been a major player in college football, right? They're in Eugene, Oregon. It's nowhere near a major market. You're not adding TV money by adding them. So that if they don't find a home in the Big Ten or something like that, they could end up dwindling as a power football, college football team. Or just athletics in general. It doesn't matter if Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, is pouring in money or not. They won't be able to get the recruits they were getting. So they need to be in one of these big conferences to be able to succeed.
Well, best of luck to all those schools. Hopefully, something gets figured out there. Next up, into the NFL we go. Pro Football Focus ranks the Bills the number one roster in the NFL as of right now, at least. Shaq, do you agree or disagree on the Bills being the number one roster?
I wouldn't necessarily agree with them being the number one roster.
So you disagree?
I completely disagree that the Bills are the number one roster in the NFL right now. I mean, are they a scary team? Would I put them top 3 teams of the roster that I would not go against? Absolutely, but I wouldn't say they're the.
So if you disagree, who do you think definitively has a better team than the Bills?
It's hard. I'm trying to think of my roster of teams. When it comes to complete coaching, just not looking at players on a team. I mean, I still put Kansas City as a team that I would definitely still fear most overall, even with losing Tyreek over there. Still, quarterback wise and everything else, would not want to see them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not to give you all the props to the Patriots, I still wouldn't put it up there because even with the lack of experience in QB position, we just saw this man coaching wise put this team in a good spot. I still would put them as a scarier team than.
Well, it's very flattering of you, Shaq.
I'm just being honest on teams I wouldn't want to see come through. Just being honest.
All right. Go ahead, Malin.
Shaq, let me see your hands. I want to make sure you're not giving Jalen a back massage or nothing right now. Jesus Lord.
Do we not just watch his team throw like two passes in the? Did we not just watch his team throw two passes in the game?
And then we saw them in the playoffs, and we might as well have only thrown two passes.
Yeah,
but not the point.
So let's calm down a little bit.
Not the point.
Now,
we saw potential.
Well, couple questions. Is there a better defensive back on Buffalo? If I say Jalen Ramsey, I'm a better defensive back for Buffalo Bills.
I cannot.
Okay. So we know the Bills have Von Miller now, right? If I say Aaron Donald, what are you taking?
I'll still take Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Okay. So now, here's where it gets a little interesting. Talk about wide receivers for a second. You're going to take Stephon Diggs, or you're going to take Cooper Kupp?
Give me Cooper Kupp, please.
Okay. Now, we're talking about a total roster, right? Do I think that Josh Allen is better than Matt Stafford? Yes. Do I think he's that much better than Matt Stafford? No. Stafford just won a Super Bowl with a dominant roster, right? I'm taking the Rams roster is the most complete. They have the most All-Pros on their roster. They find a way to manipulate the cap in ways that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay? They're still going to sign OBJ at some point the moment he's healthy. They did sign a receiver, the Rams. It's kind of blank on me now, but they did sign I think it was someone named Jefferson. I think they signed someone named Jefferson because they lost Robert Woods to somebody. And they also added Bobby Wagner as their middle linebacker.
That's right.
Like Jesus Lord. So I'm taking the Rams is the number one roster. Like I get the love affair with Buffalo. I think that everyone's giving Buffalo a little bit more hype than they deserve because they lost because of a coin flip to KC. So I think there's that. I think a lot of people are victim to the unrealized potential of the Buffalo roster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, well, Buffalo could have done this if that rule wasn't in place for the overtime. So there's some unrealized potential there. The Rams literally won the Super Bowl.
Right.
And they didn't lose anybody.
Right.
So all they did was add another all-pro middle linebacker. The best middle linebacker of the last decade to their team. So
yeah,
I gotta take the Rams on that.
Yeah, I would agree. Say the Rams are still right there, and the fact that the biggest moves were basically losing Von Miller and then in his place bringing in Bobby Wagner. It's like on paper I still don't see anybody who was a better team than the Rams. Tampa and LA, I don't understand how they do this cap stuff, but they just keep on signing these checks and keep bringing them back in. So
to also contradict myself on me talking about the Patriots, I also do believe to boost Nestor, not that he's in here, I do believe that gap between y'all and the Dolphins may have shrunk a tiny bit. Just saying.
We're gonna be talking about that later on.
Talk about the AFC.
Yeah, I'm just letting y'all know it was gonna was gonna be my what's up with that, but I just left it alone. But
You can dig that hole when we talk about that because I know what rabbit trail you're going down. If you can dig a hole and find Thumper, go for it. But Jesus Lord,
oh, I'm gonna put
I
myself in that hole. The only thing y'all gonna see is the tip of my forehead coming out of that hole. So there we go.
All right.
Hey, like the Bills signed Von Miller and OJ Howard from the Bucks tight end. Like that was their
Yeah.
two biggest acquisitions. So it's a very good roster. I just don't know if it's necessarily the best. I just think that the writers have a love affair with the AFC. They just missed the NFC a little bit.
Next up, speaking of the NFC, Baker Mayfield finally traded to the Panthers for a conditional 2024 pick. The Browns and the Panthers will be splitting his $18.9 million salary this coming year. It's about damn time Baker Mayfield finally found a home in Carolina. I would like to give a quote from Nori, the Melheims Media resident Panthers fan. His comments on this trade were as follows: "He can't be any worse than Darnold." That's what his exact words were.
Oh, definitely can be. It definitely can be. But
what do you guys think about Baker Mayfield being a Panther?
It's gonna be a lot worse than Sam Smith. I mean Sam Darnold. But he's got to tank another team in the process of another.
Jesus.
Did you say Baker Mayfield's going to tank another team?
Yes.
Okay, you realize that the Cleveland Browns, before they signed Baker Mayfield, were 1-31. The 2 years before they signed Baker Mayfield, his rookie year, he won 6 games.
Are we talking about? Are we happy about the Browns going like?
All I'm saying is that they were 1-31.
The Browns
he took them to the playoffs. He took them to the playoffs in the first time in 20 years. And you want to say he tanked that team?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was his team good until beating us in playoffs? Was his team anything to talk about?
Well, first of all, they whooped the shit out of you in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. That's why I brought it up so y'all didn't have to bring it up and use it against me.
They literally pulled your pants down and spanked your bare ass.
I would like to say that I would like to say we clapped our own cheeks in that game.
They got clapped. Baker Mayfield was a part of that.
And we clapped our main own cheeks.
Again, so here's my question: how can you say that Baker Mayfield tanked a team when 2 years before he got there they were 1-31? And then 2 years later, they were beating the Steelers in the playoffs. Didn't tank them. Only thing that happened, one time. Well, that was recent. How many playoff games have you won in the last few years? I'm sorry. I mean, Jesus. So,
I feel like
I'm just saying, he helped build the team up to what they are now. The only thing that Baker Mayfield is guilty of is that he's not as good as Deshaun Watson. That's the only thing.
My only question
not as good as Deshaun Watson.
Shaq, do you truly think that Baker Mayfield is worse than Sam Darnold?
He's better, but he's kind of like,
jeez, Jesus.
We're taking minute steps towards progress.
Oh, okay. First of all, they got. The Panthers drafted Corral at quarterback from Ole Miss. Okay, so he's going to be their quarterback of the future. At some point. The weird thing is that Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold come from the same draft class. The Panthers right now, 1-3. They have the first and the third pick from the same draft class. Now Sam Darnold has better physical attributes than Baker Mayfield. The only difference between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield is that Baker Mayfield's a winner. In high school, he was a walk-on in college. He won at Texas Tech. He went to Oklahoma, won the Heisman. He went to the Browns, And then even though he's, hasn't always been the best, he won in Cleveland at a place where nobody won in Cleveland for 20 years. Nobody won in Cleveland for 20 years. And he won there. Now, Deshaun Watson might win more because he's more talented, but Baker Mayfield won in a city where nobody won for 20 years. So I think that Baker Mayfield is more of a winner than Sam Darnold, but I don't think either one of them is going to be long term. I mean, shit, Baker Mayfield had to give up $3.5 million to play for Carolina.
Yeah.
He had a $20 million contract. Cleveland's paying $10 million of it. Carolina's going to pay $4.5 million of it. He gave up $3.5 million just to go there. The only thing that he has working against him is that he's going there right at the start of training camp. Sam Darnold's been there.
Yeah.
So now you got one less preseason game. So can Baker Mayfield learn the offense, gain the trust, win the job in training camp? I think he'll be the starter at some point next year. I hope that he can prove something because I think last year was kind of sucked because he played with a torn labrum and his non-throwing arm. That's a lot of pain to play through. But he does have the most interceptions in 3 years than any other quarterback in the NFL. He does have that. So there you go, Shaq. You gave a little kudos there. But what I really want to happen is for Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield to start Cleveland, Carolina, week one. That would be awesome. But the crazy thing is, it's probably not going to happen because Deshaun Watson's going to get benched or he's going to get suspended, and Baker Mayfield probably won't win the job by week one. So we're still going to have Jacoby Brissett, Sam Darnold week one. That's what the fuck we get as fans. How stupid is that bullshit?
It's funny how that turned into could be one of the most entertaining week one matchups to who cares at all with that one.
That went from really cool to what the fuck in 2 seconds. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Baker Mayfield is a solid upgrade from Sam Darnold. Like you said, Malin, unfortunately, he's kind of getting there late. It's July now. It's like, damn, you only got a couple months to get this thing together. This kind of reminds me of when Cam Newton came to the Patriots late in the summer a couple of years ago, and it was like he just never seemed to completely get into that rhythm, which I would imagine part of the reason was because he was kind of late to the party. And he
got COVID.
Right, he got COVID in once.
He was balling until he got COVID.
Yeah,
the first 3 weeks, Cam Newton was balling.
Yeah, and it is the Panthers. I mean, they've shown they're not the greatest run organization. They just got Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator. This is his first year there, so now Baker's going to be working with him, and it's like Ben McAdoo's like, I just got here too. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. He's got the cards are stacked against him again, but hey, this is typically where Baker Mayfield seems to thrive is in these kind of weird situations. So
another thing I think is going to help him though is that Matt Rule is fighting for his job.
You got that right.
And I think that if he plays Baker Mayfield, I think he gives himself another year. If he plays Sam Darnold for most of the season, he's going to get fired.
Yeah, he's out of there.
But if I really don't think Baker's going to be the week one starter. I don't think he's going to have enough time in training camp to be able to learn the offense the way that Sam Darnold does. So I do think they'll go into the year with Sam Darnold. But I think Baker will be the quarterback at some point. But Matt Rule's fighting for his job, which will give Baker a chance. But it's really going to come down to, can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy?
Yep.
He hasn't been able to do that the last couple of years. It doesn't matter what quarterback you got under center. If Christian McCaffrey's healthy, you're going to win more games.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield. I'm just glad the Seahawks don't have him.
Last but certainly not least, I threw this in here just for Malin, of course. So Russell Wilson over this offseason has been jetting around everywhere, making appearances at playoff games, NBA playoff games, giving talks at college graduations, throwing first pitches, and all along the way, he's just cheering on his Denver Broncos. He's like a fucking Broncos diplomat or something. I don't know. He's just going everywhere, talking about the Broncos, how great they are. And his teammates are saying, hey, even though he's jetting all over the place, he's still staying in contact with us. He's still being a good leader. So don't worry about him not spending a whole lot of time with the team, per se. He's still doing great. Malin, what do you think about Russ?
First of all, fuck you for making me talk about Russell Wilson more. That's some bullshit. He's been doing this stuff for like the last 5 years. Like ever since he got with Sierra, he's been doing this stuff. He's grown his hair out. He's cut it. He's worn stupid ass clothes. He's gone to galas. He's gone to award shows. You know what I mean? The only thing different between Russell Wilson now and Russell Wilson like 6 years ago is he wears really weird suits when he's at like award shows and galas. And I don't think he goes anywhere without a Russell Wilson branded hat. It's blue and orange now instead of blue and green, but it's still a Russell Wilson hat.
Good for him.
He doesn't really like. Have you seen him wear anything Broncos outside of practices? No, it's a Russell Wilson branded gear. I think that Russell Wilson is more about his own brand than anything else at this point, and he wants Denver to succeed. But I don't think him doing all this stuff makes him a worse quarterback, or I don't think it's detrimental to him being a leader, because I can talk about anything I want about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson made the playoffs with Seattle all but 1 year that he played for us. And why? Because he's a leader. He wants to win, and he's a winner. You put talent around him, he's going to win. Denver does have a talented team, so I do think they will win. I don't think they're going to be as good as other people might think they will be in the AFC West because they're stacked. But what he does in the offseason doesn't have anything to do with the type of mentality he has when it comes to football. So I think he's fine. I think Denver's going to be fine. This has been Russell Wilson for like the last 5 or 6 years. Just haven't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, seems like it. So on that note, we will actually take a break this time. No joke there. So yeah, we'll take a break. We'll be back in 7.5 minutes, and we may or may not have G Money for you on the other side of the break. So we will be back. Peace.
With the fears in my head, can't get it out of my mind. I hear what never was said. I feel the unknown with the fears in my head. They attach, they latch. I got a brand new batch. They don't lack, that's facts. No slack. Pimp tight, attached from the inside. They'll fuck up any kind of night. They'll fuck up any kind of vibe. Playing tricks with your mind. I cannot get it away.
I will. How about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair. fair enough.
On the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Mayfield, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Sweet. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah, pretty freaking plain.
I'm chucking this shit. It's Del Mabry. By the way.
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino. Oh, whoa! What do you mean, wide left? There was. No, he thought we were friends. Yeah, you better fold that shit up. We ain't done yet. Come on. Get off the ball.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
8 fans fell out of the stands as Jalen Hurts is walking into the tunnel. I will just preface this by saying all those people were just fine, no serious injuries. They were all right, but goddamn, that was funny to watch.
Fortunately, knowing how the Eagles fans are built, the last thing you should do is lean their body weight against anything.
First of all, you got to be a real diehard Eagles fan to be reaching out that far to get a high five from Jalen Hurts. Like I said, is only averaging 188 yards passing a game. Okay, I'm just saying.
Live chat here, TW1. I swear, y'all come out of fucking potholes like cockroaches. Steady Eagles haters. We aren't going to win the Super Bowl, but we might win the wild card.
What does
maybe.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
TW1, 50% of teams have a shot at winning the wild card. Maybe.
I swear to God, these Eagles fans should really be riding whatever wave they can catch. They're going to catch a rip off a puddle that would rhyme it.
I love how we're not even talking about the Eagles right now.
Yes, it is.
Fuck you even find this, bro.
He's like, we're talking about the other team in Pennsylvania, people.
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my God. No.
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Just drink.
Oh, okay.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink. You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
The
NFL.
my guy. The NFL. Oakland Raiders.
That's a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears, okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds.
What was your
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about it.
What they got to do with me? My
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does, because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback at Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No,
hell no.
I was the first black quarterback.
Nigga, he's black and he ain't that. He was the first black quarterback on Washington football.
Doug Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a medal order for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so.
Not just still playing, but had no.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's at AFR Sports. Now back to the show with your hosts, Jalen, Shaquille, and Malin.
Show was great.
Flawless.
Welcome back to the show, folks. You will have to just not mind our housekeeping here. Not used to having a third person on. I couldn't fake this until just now. But anyway, hope you guys had a good break. We have G Money on the show. G Money, you want to say hi?
Yep.
I don't know if he can hear us. Can you hear us, G Money? It's scaring the hell out of me. Gary, can you hear us?
This show's
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying the show. One of the best shows on YouTube, TikTok, and I can hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can definitely hear you guys.
Are we having a delay as well?
Yeah, like we're having a 5
That's because I'm on the West Coast. We're gonna blame it on Comcast cable and the West Coast, because West Coast gets blamed for a lot of shit, and we were destroying the Pac-12.
Okay, well, he's already drinking, so might be because he's on the West Coast. I don't know.
What time do you gotta be to work in the morning, Malin?
Me?
Yeah.
6:30.
Don't even bother going to sleep by the pace of this show. Just go ahead and just.
All right, G Money, we're about to take a shot here.
He'll be halfway through this
He's got
segment.
his meal.
He's been holding that
All right,
shot.
let's go, fellas.
That's 10 minutes. Ready for it.
G Money, what are you taking a shot of?
Doing Old Forester 1920.
Okay. So I think we have about Old Forester 1920 is good. I think we got about a 3 to 4 second delay. So when we ask G Money a question, we got to give about 3 to 4 seconds.
That's all right. All right. Let's hop into the what's up with that for this week. So this is where we, of course, let you guys know what is bothering us, what is weighing heavy on our sports hearts this week that we just need to bring up and discuss with amongst the group. Anybody want to volunteer to go first, Shaq?
I will go first so y'all can ridicule me, get out of your systems, and then continue.
Sounds good.
As much as we can criticize Westbrook for being a cancer to his team in the overall addition to the Lakers,
all those things.
Yes, I still think there's one person I believe to still be a worse toxin to their team than Westbrook is our wonderful friend Ben Simmons, and a whole a toxin to his team. You know what we do get from Westbrook? Availability. This man has been probably the most consistent person still on the Lakers. For the most part, he's still there. He's still want to try his best. He still throws up the shots. He's still there for the plays.
He's throwing up them shots. All right.
You know who doesn't do that? Ben Simmons. This man's afraid to shoot even free throws. I still believe to this day and age, this man refuses to do anything other than drive to the hoop, whether the lane is there or not. And then when he realizes he's doing bad, I am injured. I need to miss the rest of the season and not play.
So is your what's up with that? Is you think that Ben Simmons deserves more ridicule than
Russell Westbrook? And when it comes to ESPN loves to ridicule Westbrook on a whole for the cause of Lakers' failure, which he partially is. But I do believe Ben Simmons, who was supposed to be this big addition to Brooklyn, played negative 10% into Brooklyn at all. Did not do much at all for Brooklyn. I hated Ben Simmons on a whole. I have much more respect on Westbrook. As a player, to be honest with you, and anything else than Ben Simmons will ever be as a player, to be honest. But that's just me.
Okay. That was weighing heavy on Shaq's heart, Malin, in response.
Fuck Ben Simmons.
Jesus.
Did Shaq just defend Russell Westbrook on this show? That is what just happened. I need to pinch myself to know. Okay, I'm still awake. This man spent his whole life trashing Russell Westbrook and then found the one person that's worse than him and decided that's his what's up with that. That is awesome.
My what's up with that directly ties to this. And G Money, I'm going to go to you first on this. These trade rumors that we have been hearing of since the Nets and Kyrie's there. Kyrie for Russell Westbrook. Now,
trade one cancer for another. Trade ovarian for breast cancer.
You are indeed trading two toxic cancers for another. G Money, what do you think about that specific trade rumor, the Westbrook for Irving deal?
He just heard it. How much of a delay is there?
Not going to happen.
Okay.
This man is still listening to Ben Simmons' conversation.
Kyrie's a better shooter, but he only plays like 1/10 of the season. So you got him for like 15, 20 games. I mean, the hell? You might as well just stay with Westbrook. I mean, really, he wasn't. What did he average this season? 17 points?
On a good day.
Huh?
Yes.
we are working with some kind of wicked delay here.
It's like you.
I don't. This is crazy. No, I don't think the Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook,
like 8 or 9 rebounds and like 5 or 6 assists. I mean, no. And aside from that, see, this is why Kyrie Irving won't come to LA, because the Earth is round.
Oh, that was good. I don't know. I think that Kyrie Irving would be a little bit better on the Lakers than Westbrook. I just don't think, because Kyrie Irving can do one of two things. One, he can play off the ball.
If it were flat, we wouldn't have this 3-second delay.
It wouldn't, but we do. So we're gonna run with it. It's a round Earth. It's almost like our signal is bouncing off of Shaq's forehead before it gets to G-Money. That's what's happening.
This is why you're not going to go to sleep before work. That's right here.
Man.
Can you imagine when we get to the the conference.
Oh God, damn it!
Yes.
Malin, what's up
was
with
great.
that this week?
Well,
Carrie's outta
my
here.
what's up with that is that the Earth is round, and what the fuck is taking so long? It's a goddamn delay. What's kind of irritating me? Like, I don't even know what happened to G Money. I see a cord. I don't know if he fell down. Oh, nope, it's coming back. Wow, he just teleported. But anyways, so
Comcast.
my what's up with that is what is I just think sports in general is starting to lose audience of the common person is my belief. Like the contracts so crazy. The amount of money that people make, it makes them like detached from reality. And I think the more that professional athletes make, I think the more that we as the fans, like they don't understand us and we don't understand them. With all the trades that happen, all the free agency, it gets harder and harder to root for a particular favorite player in any sport because you don't know how long they're going to be there. Buy a jersey 1 year, you get excited, like like
who you
Brooklyn.
telling? Who you telling?
Like you get excited that like Brooklyn signs Kevin Durant 3 years ago. You get excited about it. 3 years later, you might have bought his jersey. Now all of a sudden he wants out. How many wide receivers demanded trades and got out in the NFL this year? It just seems like it gets harder and harder to root for individual players because you don't know how invested you can get into them because you don't know how long they're going to play for your favorite team. And gone are the days of knowing that, yeah, you know what? We got this great young person that we know that we can at least root for them for 10 years. Those days are gone. And that's kind of sad for the fan. So I wish that we could change that. I don't think we can. But it's just kind of unfortunate that when your favorite team has a really good player, you can't bank on them being there for the better part of their career. They're probably going to leave at some point.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the show before. My dad is a very big Nets fan. We're from New Jersey. I grew up there. He's a very big Nets fan. So when they got Durant and Irving, these past few years, he's obviously been very excited that they were there. And literally within like a day, because we had literally I just saw him I think when we did this last week's episode, I saw him in person. We were talking about basketball. And, he was talking about the Kyrie deal and hoping that they re-sign him. And then the next day he texted me. He was like, well, that's unbelievable.
Which is understandable because, look at me who has jerseys of Steelers players. I had gotten these jerseys, wore them for a good season, maybe 2 seasons, and all of a sudden, these people are dispersing. Me who want to buy other jerseys of Steelers, I'm afraid to spend the money because jerseys aren't cheap.
Right, yeah.
To buy them and be like, I'm going to buy it, and then these goons are going to leave. You're better off buying, older jerseys, getting your Roethlisberger jersey or Palomalu jerseys. They're probably a better investment than getting these current players' jerseys.
To be fair, nobody twisted your arm and made you buy a Juju jersey. Nobody.
Nobody did, but it's that same aspect of you having a Russell Wilson jersey. Heaven forbid this man wins a ring with the Broncos, has a great dynasty with the Broncos, and it's kind of like, I have this.
I will say this about Steelers. That y'all had Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and you lost them within 18 months. So I do get that.
Yeah.
And I have, I think I have 18 Seahawks jerseys. And the only current jersey I have right now is Tyler Lockett. Now I have had some misses like you, Shaq. I got a Jimmy Graham jersey.
Yeah.
Shit. That was fun. And I also got a Thomas Rawls jersey, who was the running back that had a great 6 games. Once Marshawn Lynch got hurt, and then broke his ankle against Baltimore in 2016. Never heard of him again. Bought that jersey. That was cool. But I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of right. Buying jerseys kind of.
You know, the only people I pray for because of the stupidity are people who went out and bought Tom Brady jerseys. Like, why? Why did he go out of his way for a man that
the Tampa Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tampa Tom Brady jersey. You know, we were gonna spend 2, maybe 3 years max with your team before retiring, but you went out and spent probably close to $200 worth for a jersey to get you one Super Bowl. Yeah, to get one ring though out of the situation. You know,
shit, I'll take a ring.
But like, look, that's because it's Tampa. It's Tampa. They're not used to getting rings.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Then I guess that's the rationale. Whereas you, as a Patriots fan, was like,
I mean, I don't blame the Tampa because it's not like he's going somewhere else after this.
Yeah, because he's retiring. You know, he's gonna retire soon after leaving the team.
So it's like you can buy a Tampa Tom Brady jersey comfortably because you know that's it. Like I buy this and he'll retire.
I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. Best to go buy.
If you buy a jersey of a player and they win a Super Bowl, it's fine.
Right.
But it's the people that buy the Kyrie Irving jerseys in Boston, like a certain friend of mine.
I don't know anybody like
Granted,
Jalen.
Granted,
or maybe you have a Cam Newton Patriots jersey in your closet. That's
a
another
relic.
one to maybe
Old relic.
Maybe not be a fan of.
But my beef with those people is their most recent jersey before that is like 15 years ago. Bucks jersey, and then all of a sudden this year they bought a Brady jersey again. It's like you have a total of 2 jerseys, and there's 10 years in separation of this. Is like
but that's Buccaneers fans though.
The bandwagoning,
Tom Brady,
the bandwagoning thing. You only bought jerseys in the years that they're doing well. That's the only reason you bought jerseys.
But that's more on the fan though. I'm talking about the fans that, hey, we got this great person, and we don't know how long they're going to be there. Like personally, like I would have bought a DK Metcalf jersey already. He ain't signing an extension.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to be there. You know what I mean? I should, as a fan, be able to have the trust and the faith that my team's going to be able to keep him there. But money talks so much in sports. And opportunity talks so much in sports that we're not guaranteed as fans to get the best years of the best players that we draft or we sign. Like they could end up going anywhere else. Like, I mean, there's a lot of Chiefs fans that bought a Tyreek Hill jersey.
Yep.
And this motherfucker's
like,
in Miami.
what the fuck right now?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing.
There's no reason that he should be in Miami right
Right.
now, is what I'm saying. Like that's my what's up with that, is that these players that are generational players, there should be a contract structure. There should be a salary cap structure that allows them to keep the players that they draft. And that's why my Seahawks never ended up realizing a bunch of the stuff they could have done because they couldn't pay everybody. Eventually, everybody had to leave.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to every good team. So, I don't know. It's just unfortunate. We still have like an 18-second delay with G Money. I don't know if you can still hear us or not.
We'll see.
I think so.
Here's my thing about that is, when I became the big Steelers fans or cheering for them as my team, I didn't have the money personally to put in $150, $120 for the jersey to do all this and everything. Up until recently, where I started the whole Juju Brown, when I can afford to throw in $120 per se, and even then, that's very rare.
Yeah, probably.
Wow, that's a long delay, Gary.
It's a minute delay. Continue.
But yeah, it's
Hey,
like
hold
now.
on. Hey, hold on a second. Gary, when you hear this, I want you to log out and log back in
There
to
you
see if
go.
it fixes the delay.
We're gonna be in our
Okay.
AFC, but this man's gonna randomly click out.
When you hear this, Gary, log out, log back in, see if it fixes the delay.
G Money's still my
Hell of a
favorite.
delay.
G Money's still my favorite person ever. Don't let his delay fool you.
Absolutely.
He is.
Favorite person ever.
First of all, he's a Marine. He'll fucking kill you.
Oh, don't do that to me. My only defense is headbutting, and they ain't gonna get me that far.
We do not need to see that.
I think he just heard what I said. I think he's just now about to log out and try to log back in. So that is a hell of a delay we got going on there. But okay,
what were we
so
talking about?
but the same thing with like the jerseys that Shaq buys, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just bought a Najee Harris jersey, right?
But who knows if he redoes his contract after the end of his rookie contract?
Right.
So, but that's the thing. Like, this was the '90s, early 2000s. If he was on the level of like a LaDainian Tomlinson or a Sean Alexander, right? You get a rookie running back like that, you could expect to have him on your team for 8 to 10 years. Now he might be there 4 years at best, someplace else. And that's what sucks for the fans, is that we don't get to enjoy, we don't get to really identify and fall in love with the best players on our teams the way that we used to. Like, Jalen got lucky with Tom Brady for 20 years. Most of us don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky with Russell Wilson for 10 years. I mean, shit, Peyton Manning ended up on another team.
Look, I got lucky with Big Ben for me cheering for Big Ben spent his career at this team. Yeah, it's like we got a dynasty player who spent literally his career at a team, and then we got to enjoy seeing him from beginning to end. Whether or not the last year or so has been rough watching him, but he's still a Hall of Famer quarterback, and this man is G-Money's
That
gone
might be
now.
the first good thing I've heard you say about Big Ben since I've joined the podcast.
Westbrook, Big Ben. You know the only person he can't
Stop
get
it, stop.
money.
Don't go down that dark
Big
road.
Ben's not here. Now all of a sudden Shaq is missing the shit out of Big Ben. Hey,
Jail-
Shaq, let me ask
jail
you a
already
question. No, hold on. Hold on.
He starts.
Do you have a big Roethlisberger jersey?
Not yet. I was waiting to retire, so now it becomes
20 years. Not yet.
This man talking about how he's lucky that he got to experience all this with Big Ben and never even bought his jersey.
No, because you know what I predicted him, this goofy ass looking motherfucker, to just switch teams randomly last year.
He wasn't switching nothing.
Tom Brady switched. Stop it. Oh, I like he wasn't out.
That was Tom Brady.
Okay.
When did you become a fan of the Steelers, Shaq?
When I really started getting into football in my childhood, I had a friend that I would like elementary, middle school. When I had a friend.
The year.
This fan was a spit out like a random year of like 2005
Wasn't going
to
anywhere.
this motherfucker. 2005 to this motherfucker. Like I didn't know what exactly what year. No, I was just putting out a year, but like me as a kid in elementary and middle school, I can't give you an exact year. I don't recall this 20 years ago almost of trying to tell you when I became a football fan of a specific team.
Became a football fan when they won a Super Bowl. That's when he became a fan of the Steelers.
My family, look, as my family is the first generation here in America, I do not have the thrill of living with a family that watch football. Nobody in my family gives a shit about football. I was the first person to actually sit here and watch football in my household.
Hold on, real quick. G Money, give me a thumbs up when you hear this.
There you go. Smoke signals. Yeah. To close this segment out. My dad has a bunch of Nets paraphernalia, but he refuses to get any kind of jersey or anything like that because he's not trying to, like you just said, he loves them, but he knows that these dudes are here today, gone tomorrow type deal. So
thumbs up. There we go.
That was like a 30-second delay.
It's all good though. It's all good. We'll cue him up 30 seconds into whoever's record.
Like I
is
said,
given.
Malin, you are not going to bed tonight.
We will just give him the floor when it's his turn to talk about the AFC East because he's not going to be able to rebuttal things.
I do not work tomorrow, so I'm okay with whatever pace we're going on with.
Well,
okay.
All right. We're going to get into the record predictions for the AFC East. Now, we are going to start off with the New York Jets. Let me give a little preface for this. So, we did this last year. So, basically, if we start now, 8 divisions, it's 2 months. If we do 1 division a week. By the time that we're done with this, the NFL season will just be kicking off, like the next week that after we finish this segment. So this is why we like to start this in July, so that it gives us something to keep talking about football every week up until the season actually starts. So we're going to start off with the AFC. We'll work our way through the 4 AFC divisions, and then we'll switch to the NFC. So I figured, why not start with my very own AFC East. And we will start off with the New York Jets to begin with. So the way this is going to work, at least for this week, it'll change up next week just a little. Not really for you guys at home, but for us, it'll change up a little. But I will mark down this week as we go what everybody says, just so I have it on record. But next week, that probably won't be necessary. So, yeah, we will start with the Jets. We'll go one person at a time, and then we'll rotate to the next team in the division. Shaq, would you like to go first, predicting the Jets' schedule?
All right. So I'm seeing week 1, they're going up against Baltimore. I see that as an L going up week 1 against Baltimore. So, yeah, it's not going to say Baltimore. Week 2, the Browns, I feel like homeboy will not be playing. So, yeah, still an L for the Jets for this one. That makes difference. An L to Cincinnati. I don't care who's playing quarterback week 4 for the Steelers. They're still going to catch an L to the Steelers. An L to Miami. I'm sorry, Miami just got that much better. And by week 5, I'm hoping Miami has figured out some sort of kinks. L to Green Bay. L to Denver. L to Buffalo. L to New England. Then L to Buffalo. L to New England. The first dub might actually come to Chicago. Oh yeah, the first dub to Chicago. L to Minnesota. L again to Buffalo. They win against Detroit. All right. I say they get a good streak on here. They win against Jacksonville.
2 wins in a row, baby.
An L to Seattle. Okay. And then an L to Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, that's...
Shaq has them winning 3 games this year.
Yes. They maybe at most win 5 games this year by some lucky fluke, but they got a very interesting and rough schedule. Can we be honest that this team has... The Jets have a rough schedule. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Look, they're easy. Look at their schedule. The fact that the easiest teams they got is Jacksonville, Detroit, and maybe Chicago, which is the team they beat. Everybody else is just very much a competitive team for them, the Jets.
Yeah, Mainland, you can go next when you feel like you are getting about 30 seconds towards your end. You can queue up G Money.
I didn't know we were doing like every single game. I thought we were just giving like records. I have. Hold on. I have the Jets winning week 12.
Oh.
And they have one more win coming. Oh, and I also have the Jets winning Week 15.
So he's even worse than me. He has his team winning 2 wins for the season.
Yes. I have the Jets. Because I did every single game throughout the season. No, hold on. I have the Jets going 2-15.
12.
Yeah. Week 12 and week 15, I think. They're 0-12 in the conference, 0-6 in their division, 2-6 at home, and 0-9 away.
So his whole prediction lasted 30 seconds.
Is what I have. So G Money, if you can figure yours out in the next 30 seconds, that'd be cool.
I'll be surprised if anyone. I probably have the most optimistic of the Jets schedule out of all 4 of us.
With one more win. I think I have.
You have a 3-win Jets.
I have them with you as well. I have them going 3-14.
Okay.
Jesus.
G Money's looking right now because he saw what Shaq was doing, so he's trying to figure out what it is he had because he has a lot of papers like me here.
This man's
so
over
he's
there.
going to start going at any moment. He's old school. Look at him.
Did you print out your record predictions, G Money?
At this point, G Money it's easier just to tell us which week like Malin did or which. Look at this man.
He's trying to find a win for the Jets. And he still ain't caught up. Jet, there's a lot of paper.
Yeah, I did.
Look at this man. Look at a teacher.
I have the Jets. Well,
hold on.
Maybe I only have them winning 2 games. Now, let's see.
That's a lot of paper.
For the Jets. Look. For a team that most of us can't even name more than 3 players
Jets
for.
going 4-13.
4-13. Let's go. Who they beating?
Can't ask him that. He won't know for another minute.
Winning week 9 with an upset of Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Winning week 12.
Let's go.
Against
Against the Bears.
Buffalo. Upset a week. Buffalo. Did half the team break their ankles in the bus accident? Is that what's going on?
I sure hope so for our sake.
At this point, I don't know what I was laughing at, but
beating Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. There's 3.
And then week 15 against Detroit.
So we all have them for the most part beating the same teams, except for this man thinks that for some reason they beat Buffalo.
And week 16 against
I think you said it, right?
Week 16, whoever the fan week 16.
Oh, that's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Who's the 4th win, though?
That was it.
I guess well.
We'll figure it out. Apparently, he's the most optimistic person on this fucking roster.
Yeah, Buffalo goes into New York thinking, hey, we've got this one, and the Jets upset him.
How much optimism they get?
Yeah, Jacksonville.
We just talked about how. I was gonna say we just talked about how East.
That should be the 4th win. Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, and Jacksonville.
Okay, it's all right. Did we just talk
Now,
about how Eastman thought Buffalo was the best team, and then all of a sudden we.
Oh no, we did, but here's the thing though, Shaq, is that G Money and I we went through the entire NFL schedule and we picked every game already. Okay. So but the problem with that is that you have to also be able to predict who's going to lay an egg.
Right.
Because if you just go through the schedule and you think, oh, they should beat this team, they should beat that team, they should beat this team, you're going to end up with, like Minnesota 15-1. Okay. When you look at those schedules. So you have to be able to predict when they're going to be able to lay an egg too. So, that type of game could be one of those type of sleepers, because when he's picking all those Buffalo games, he might think that, they're riding the train, they're going to New York, and then all of a sudden they lay an egg. So, because every good team lays an egg. I mean, hell, the year that Kansas City won the Super Bowl, they laid an egg to Oakland at the time at Kansas City.
Yeah. Yep.
So it can't happen. So
yeah,
but we're all 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
On the Jets. Sorry about that, Zach Wilson. Sorry about your luck, Chief.
I'm not sorry.
We're gonna move into Miami next. Yeah, Miami's gonna be an interesting one here. Shaq, you can go right ahead.
First game. Where's his first game at for New England? That's what I didn't investigate into.
It is in New England.
So I say that.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. It is in Miami. My bad.
That's where it draws a sketchy. I say Miami gets his first game off the bat purely because New England doesn't quite know what to expect out of this new roster for New England, kind of to a degree. But I do say they lose to Baltimore, they lose to Buffalo, lose to Cincinnati, they beat the Jets, they also beat Minnesota. I'm trying to keep my own bias out of this. I say they lose to Pittsburgh. They beat Detroit. They beat Chicago. I don't know how long the suspension or what. I say they lose to the Browns also. They got their bye week. They beat Houston. They beat San Fran. They lose to the Chargers. Lose to Buffalo. Lose to New England. Lose to Green Bay. Lose to New England and beat the Jets again.
You can win 8 games.
Yeah, I see them win. I can see them winning 8 games for the season.
What's that? 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Malin, go ahead.
You go ahead, Jalen. I'm trying to catch up
right.
with the way you guys are doing this here.
Gotcha. So I have them beating New England week 1 in Miami. It'll be September, hot as hell. They should win that one. Baltimore, I also have them losing that. Buffalo, I think they will get the best of Buffalo early in the season. They'll play them at home. It'll still be very hot. I think Miami will take advantage of that one. Cincinnati, I also think they lose that one. They'll beat the Jets. They will beat the Vikings at home. I can't see them beating the Steelers. They will go on a nice winning streak starting here. They will beat Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Houston, and San Francisco before they lose to the Chargers, the Bills, the Packers, and New England later in the year. In the last game of the season, they will get up on the Jets. So I have them winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games this year, going 10 and 7.
That's a really good season for man right there.
It's only 2 games, 2 wins better than you have them.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't. I don't know. There's a couple of teams I just cannot.
I think Miami will be a very not very good, but they'll be a good football team.
We'll see how Tyreek fits into
that too.
That offense.
Right. So, I was able to figure out the weeks that they are going to win, but I don't necessarily know their opponents because I was just flushing through stuff here. But I see Miami going 7-10. They're going to go 4-8 in the conference, 3-3 in their division, 4-4 at home, 3-6 on the road. I see them winning, Jalen, at week 1. See them winning week 5, week 6, week 8, week 9, week 12, week 18. So of them win.
Okay. See them beating New England, the Jets, the Vikings, Detroit, Chicago, and the Jets again.
Yes, and the only reason why I really think that they're going to beat New England one time is that they always beat New England one time,
Right.
it seems. So yeah. So those are my wins. So whenever G Money is ready, he can start telling us who he thinks is going to win, but we can kind of fill it until he starts talking.
What's y'all's favorite color?
I just love all the papers that G Money has. He's going old school.
G Money is like a fucking librarian right now.
It is awesome.
Brought out the
Okay, so I
paper.
got the Dolphins going 6-11. I have
There
them
you go.
winning week 1 against the Patriots. I have them winning week 2 against Baltimore. Then I have them losing week 3 against Buffalo. And then week 4, I have them losing against Cincinnati. I have them beating the Jets in week 5.
They have a bye.
I have them losing in week 6 against Minnesota. And week 7, they I have them beating Pittsburgh in week 7.
Sir. Yo.
All these 6 wins and 1 of them's
Yeah, why? This man just like basically fuck shacking the show.
So he only has 1 more win from now until the
I
rest
have
of the
week 8 losing to Detroit.
There's like 10 more
week
weeks
9,
left
should I
in the
say.
season.
Week 10.
Wow, he hasn't losing to Detroit.
But they gotta beat Steelers though. They can't beat Detroit.
Keep the brakes off. Too.
He just heard what you said.
I have week 10 there. Beat week 10. They beat Cleveland. Yeah, because the Central sucks.
Don't care what he has to say after this. I know it's gonna take about 6 minutes to hear what I say right now, but like the fact that you say we are less than Detroit right now in
Week
our
11,
game.
they lose to the. Hold on. In fact, week 13, 14, 15, I think I have them playing Pittsburgh and beating them all 3 weeks. Yeah, just see week 11.
This is so bad.
Yeah, week 13, I have them losing to the 49ers.
This man really saying the Miami Dolphins are gonna beat us every fucking week of this season.
Yeah, he said that.
You were my favorite guest of the show, but where's Brady the GOAT? Where's Brady the GOAT on this show? This man, the level of disrespect to come on here. Not only did I look,
Yeah.
my God, this man just hate come on the show purposely to hate me.
Okay.
Oh, it's week 9. It was out of order. I have them losing to Chicago in week 9. So,
Okay.
They lose to
That's
Chicago,
that's not what I'm worried
but can't
about.
lose to Pittsburgh.
Got him.
Okay.
So
I'm pretty sure that was.
he has him at 6 wins.
Yeah, 6-11.
And most of the wins towards Pittsburgh, but it's not neither here nor there.
All right.
You're lucky I still got the utmost respect for you, so I just leave it to the side or whatever. Your opinion's your opinion.
Okay.
Whatever.
Let's keep it moving. We were coming up on midnight here. This show is great.
I told you, man, they ain't even gonna go to sleep. He just sit here. He's gonna drive to Starbucks right after this. It's all right.
At this rate.
Who are we talking about next?
We are gonna go into the Patriots here. Let me hide the Dolphins. All right.
As you should.
Yeah, so we'll go into New England. Shaq, you can go ahead.
They're gonna take an L, like I've discussed, take an L to the Dolphins. As much as I love my Pittsburgh, I say they beat our Pittsburgh here. It's pretty rough in this schedule. I say they catch an L to Baltimore, catch an L to Green Bay. Green Bay on a point to prove it this season. They beat Detroit, they beat Cleveland, beat Chicago, beat New York, beat Indianapolis. Y'all really got a cushy schedule this season. Really do. They they beat the Jets again. They beat Minnesota. I say they catch an L to Buffalo. They beat Arizona. They beat Las Vegas. They beat Minnesota. I mean, not Minnesota, Cincinnati. I'm sorry, my vision giving out on me with this print that's going on. They beat Miami, and I say they beat Buffalo because at this point they're making sure they got something to prove. So that's where I'm at.
All right. See, you have my Patriots going 1, 2, 3. You only have us losing 4 games. 13 and 4.
I'm honest.
Let's go.
I'm honest. I even give y'all a beat my own team on the schedule purely because.
Damn. Man,
I'm saying
2017
man's about to be a
Patriots.
Patriots fan.
I'm sorry. My team is transitioning from going to Hall of Fame quarterback to whatever the 32 quarterbacks we have on the roster.
What do you think the Patriots are still doing? Like, Jesus Lord.
And any one of their quarterbacks is still better than any one of the 32 that we have.
Oh, I assure you, not all of them are.
Most of them. We got 8-inch Pickett over here walking around acting like he's shit, but it's all right.
If that man wins you 10 games this year, I don't want to hear nothing from you.
If he wins his 10 games this year, I'm losing my mind. I'm buying a Pickett jersey. This man wins us more than 10 games this season.
I will go next, Jalen. So I have New England going 11-6 overall. So they're going to lose. They're going to lose week 1. They're going to win week 2. They will win week 3 against Baltimore. They will win week 4 against Green Bay. I have them. Let's see, where the hell are they on this one here? Nope, they have to win on this. Oh, they're winning against Detroit, obviously, in week 5. That would be terrible. If you guys lose Detroit in week 5, like, just fuck your team. They'll win week 6 against Cleveland. Week 7, I have Chicago. Yep, that's a win. Week 8, they're going to beat the Jets. Week 9, they are going to do what? Lose to the Colts in week 9 is what I have. Week 10, I have them. That's their bye week on week 10, so they're not playing anybody. Week 11, they're going to beat the Jets. Week 12, I see them losing to Minnesota. Week 13, they'll lose to Buffalo. Week 14, they will. The hell are they in week 14 here?
Arizona.
Weird. Arizona. Where do I have them with Arizona? Oh, they beat Arizona in week 14. Week 15, they'll beat the Raiders. Week 16, they'll beat the Bengals. Week 17, they'll beat the Dolphins. In week 18, who did they play week 18? They'll lose to the Bills. So I have them 11-6, 7-5 in the conference, 3-3 in their division, 6-2 at home, and 5-4 on the road. Is where I have the Patriots, and that breaks my heart to give them 11-6 because I fucking hate them. But that's where I have them.
I'm following suit, saying that we lose week 1 in the heat of Miami. We will beat the Steelers. We'll lose to the Ravens and the Packers. Then we'll go on a winning streak against Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, New York, Indianapolis, and then New York again. I do think that we'll lose to Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. I think that we'll get the best of Buffalo at home on December 1st. Going to Arizona, I think we lose that one. We will go to Vegas next and somehow, some way win that one. Beat the Bengals. We're all in agreement so far on that one. And then lose the last 2 games of the season because that's just what we seem to do. So I have us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
G Money,
8,
go ahead and start
9,
telling us your
10.
list.
Yeah, go ahead, G Money. Yeah, I have us going 10-7.
One thing we all agree upon is that for some reason we all lose week 1 and beat us in the Steelers week 2 is what we all agree upon so far. Something tells me G Money is saying fuck the Steelers, so he's also agreeing upon that.
We do. We agree on that. I don't know why necessarily.
It's my team, but I'm trying to be very realistic this season, and that's where I'm at. G Money, please do not wait for us to stop talking and start saying a list.
While you're talking, if you hear us start talking, don't even worry about it.
Just start talking. We'll stop talking when we hear you. It's okay.
I have New England going 7-10. Week 1, I have them losing to Miami.
Wow.
7-10.
2, I have them losing to Pittsburgh.
What?
There you go, Shaq.
That makes no sense.
Week 3, I have them beating Baltimore.
It makes no sense. Not Lily's bit. How's Miami beating us, but New England can't beat us?
To Green Bay. Week 5, I have them beating Detroit. Week 6, I have them winning against Cleveland. Week 7, I have them beating Chicago. Week 8, I have them beating the Jets. Week 9, I have them losing to Indianapolis.
Woo.
Week 11, I have them beating the Jets. Week 12, I have them losing to Minnesota. Week 13, I have them losing to Buffalo. Week 14, I have them losing to Arizona. Week 15, I have them losing to Vegas.
Yeah, about to lose all the rest of the season.
Yeah, clearly.
Week 16, I have them losing to Cincinnati. Week 17, they finally get a win and beat Miami. And then week 18, they close out the season with another L, losing to Buffalo.
Still don't understand how they beat my team. Not to be the negative person, but we got Miami beating us on multiple occasions, but
on multiple occasions, you guys play them once.
But I just still feel like we can't beat Miami, but beat New England.
That's
every dog has their day, Chef.
We the Chihuahuas of the league right now, so it's very concerning.
All right. Enough of that. On to the Buffalo Bills here. I think we're all agreeing we'll win the division.
Mm-hmm.
That's because Tua is more athletic than Matt Jones.
Well,
there you go. They win.
Okay, so we will round this out with Buffalo. Shaq, you can go right ahead.
I see them losing week 1 to L.A. I see them beating Tennessee. What do I have them so far with Miami?
Great question.
I don't want to contradict myself.
No. Miami, you have them losing the first game, and you have them losing both. So basically, the Bills beat the Dolphins twice in your book.
Okay, so they're losing first game. They're winning to Tennessee and Miami. I see them. I see them also. I see them losing against Baltimore, beating Pittsburgh, losing against Kansas City. I say they upset Green Bay, beat New York, beat Minnesota, beat Cleveland, beat Detroit. I say they lose this first game to. You double check me. What is this? Week 13?
Yes. So the Bills win that one.
So they win this game against New England week 13. They beat New York in this game. Are they beating Miami too? Also in this wonderful. Yes, they beat Miami. They beat Chicago. They beat Cincinnati.
Your picks, man.
I'm just making sure. I don't want to say one thing and then be kind of like.
You're a Steelers fan and a Heat fan. You say one thing and think another. Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to look, and I feel like they win out the rest of the season. I feel like they win out the rest of the season.
Okay, let me double check. I think you had them splitting to the.
Speaking to Mike, Jalen.
Yeah, probably
good
split.
radio, by the way.
It's unimportant.
This is great.
Yeah, okay. So you have the Bills will lose the last game against the Patriots.
Okay.
So what is their overall record that Shaq thinks?
Overall is 1, 2, 3, 4. So they'll go 13-4.
Okay. All right. So I have Buffalo going 15-2.
Okay.
That's 10-12 in the conference, 6-0 in their division. Sorry about your luck, Jalen. 7-1 at home, 8-1 on the road. I can make it easy for you. They're going to go 4-0. They're going to lose to the Steelers. And they're going to lose to Kansas City. Then they're going to rip off 10 straight wins. That's what I have happening.
You know what, Malin? You ain't that bad after all. You enjoy your company.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, Malin, it's all right. You if you want to, you can step above my league and look, Mallin's wonderful. He knows what he's talking about.
yes, you guys beating the Buffalo Bills, and that's what it took, huh?
That's all it took. That's all it took.
All of a sudden, I am in Shaq's will.
Yeah, I will fire a crackhead tomorrow from Malin. It's all right.
I am going to get
And G Money, go ahead and
Shaq,
start. But
Juju.
yes, I will fight.
I'm gonna get Shaq's Juju jersey when he dies.
Yes.
From now on, when we are at a bar, he will fight somebody.
I will fold Mike out. Anybody. I will even attempt to fight Mike Tyson from Maryland at this point in time. Forgive me this win. It's all right.
For all we know, that's the only one on Maryland's Steelers schedule.
Until then, Maryland stands in good rights with me. Okay. We're not thinking about the future. We're thinking about right now.
We can only live in the
I've
present.
got Buffalo
right?
going. I've got Buffalo going 13-4.
All right.
They lose to the Rams in week 1. They beat Tennessee in week 2. They beat Miami in week 3. They beat Baltimore in week 4. They beat Pittsburgh.
All right.
In week 5.
I will watch that crackhead fold you at this
Kansas
point in
City in
time.
week 6.
Jalen's taking this so, or Shaq's taking this so
Week 8, they
personally
beat
right
Green
now.
Bay.
He's listening to you give Maryland praise right now.
He is.
Week 9, they lose to the Jets. Week 10, they beat Minnesota. Week 11, they'd actually lose to Cleveland. Week 12, they beat Detroit.
Got hiccups.
Good.
Wait. Left. What happened?
He forgot a sheet of paper.
It's pamphlet.
Week 13, they beat New England. Yeah.
I'm dead right now.
Week 14, they beat the Jets. Week 15, they beat Miami. Week 16, they beat Chicago. Week 17, they beat Cincinnati. And week 18, they beat New England.
There you go. Ah, they beat New England again.
Oh, man.
Whew. It is what happens when the earth is round, people. Cue Kyrie.
So great.
We told you guys, technical difficulties or not, he will be here.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I would just like to say that there were a lot of trees harmed in the making of these picks. A lot of trees.
Yeah, fucking trees. We gotta make sure we get these predictions right. Give a damn about none of them birds.
But no staples or paper clips.
So, for me, though, at the AFC East, I have Buffalo, New England, Miami, and the Jets. Is that what everybody else has?
Yes, that's we with extra
Just
one or
different
two.
records, but that's what everybody else has?
Shaq has Buffalo, Miami, New England.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shaq.
Sorry. Yeah, I have the Patriots and the Dolphins with the same record at 10-7.
Oh, okay. So you don't know who would actually go to the playoffs, though, then?
Right.
That's why you guys need to use the website that I use because it spills everything out for you when you pick all the
Right.
games.
Which we'll be doing that next week. So
Yes. So, all right. Well, at least Miami, New England. I guess you guys are flopping them. I think Gary and I are right on New England and the Jets, though. But I think it's going to be Buffalo, New England, Miami, and the Jets. I think the AFC East is actually one of the easiest divisions that we can actually pick. Outside of the, I think the NFC North is like the second easiest division that we're going to end up picking, based on the picks that I did. It's going to be that one's going to be easy. The rest of them are actually pretty tough.
yeah,
So.
yeah. There's a lot more pigums in other divisions.
I feel like by then we have other choices lined up, and it kind of makes it, I guess, easier for them pick and choose. So
Yeah, well, once we start using this website next week, we'll do everything at once. So we won't pigeonhole ourselves in like we did last year.
God bless last year's choices. That was an adventure last year for picking
Yeah,
games.
heard you guys got yourselves in a little bit of a pickle.
That's when Shaq had the Colts winning like
year.
one game. Because that was the last team we picked was the Colts. So he had them winning like one game.
Rough season. You know what? This show, you guys get to live through the experiences of this show with
Shaq
us.
also had Carolina winning 3 games last year, and he was pissed after Carolina went 3-0. He was losing his goddamn mind. It was
that too.
He was because I didn't start being a regular on this show till September 29th, and that was after the 3rd week, so I got to hear all of it.
A lot of things happened after the episode of the show. I feel like I started eating socks after the episode of the show. It's just a lot of things. What was that before?
That sock came well before that.
I don't know. All that mesh, but bad moments felt meshed together after that sock eating. Are we starting the outro so we can let G Money know so he can say goodbye in a normal time with the rest of us?
Yes.
All right, this is I think we're saying goodbye for the show. It's a great seeing y'all.
Yes, we want to thank everybody for listening, for watching. Shout out to the folks on social media that are just seeing our record predictions. You can, take those for whatever they're worth. And Malin, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
Melon's not frozen in time, and
We were frozen. My mom came out here and said we were frozen for a few seconds.
All right, gotcha.
But we're back. I think Morgan would have eaten the sock, though.
No,
I think
Morgan would have wussed out on his side of the bed, and I'd have been upset.
Now, what I would have said is if you made a bet with Ryan would have eaten the goddamn sock. Ryan would have taken that goddamn thing with about 10 shots, and he would have swallowed the fucking sock.
I was gonna say we would be going to the hospital with Ryan because his ass would have actually
Yeah.
attempted to swallow the sock.
He would have filled it up with peanut M&Ms or something, and then ate the whole thing.
Ryan would have taken 5 shots, eaten glass, and died. That's what Ryan.
I, on the other hand, was smart enough to know me eating the sock is just me chewing on it and spitting back out. But Ryan would have actually tried to let me push it through my digestive system and see if it will. But any man that eats IHOP tilapia probably couldn't uphold the sock.
Wait, he ate tilapia at IHOP?
Yes.
That man has an iron stomach. That the hell? That's not even fish. That's not even. They don't even serve fish at IHOP. No, they don't. IHOP don't serve fish.
Not according to Ryan. Ryan's been trying to beg me to try IHOP tilapia for the past year.
IHOP puts a bunch of white socks through a meat grinder and fills it with shit and passes that shit off as tilapia once they bread it and fry it. That's what IHOP does. That's disgusting.
White sauce through a grinder.
Who the fuck goes to IHOP and says, you know what, I want fish? Who does that?
Ryan Brown.
He's a sociopath. He's gonna be on the next True Crimes on Netflix documentary. That's what Ryan's gonna be on. That's disgusting. That is, we need to. There's an intervention that needs to happen with Ryan. If he's eating what he thinks is fish at IHOP, is he putting syrup on it? What the fuck is he doing over there at IHOP with the goddamn?
We have no idea what
Oh
the condiment situation is, but
Hey, Jim Money, give us a thumbs up when you can hear this.
I think the show will be over by then.
Yep, probably. He's living his best life over there.
It's nice talking to
Figure
y'all.
it out next week, people. All right. Well, you know what? It's only 12:20.
Yes, the show is almost
Jesus,
3 hours.
God bless y'all. This is a whole ass Lord of the Rings movie in this bitch.
It's not even the regular season in the NFL.
There we go. He finally heard us.
There we go. 30, it's only about 45 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna say good night to you all. I appreciate
Yep.
being on. Maybe we'll figure this out. Well,
I said maybe well, then he stopped talking.
Oh,
It scared me. I don't know if he just had a brain aneurysm. I don't know what just happened. So let's go ahead and sign off, people. Let's go ahead and kill the dying dog in the middle of the street while it's breathing its last breath. Let's go ahead and kill it.
We'll see you all next week when this show is way better.
Yeah. Jalen, when you put that finger, you got one ET looking ass motherfucking finger. Man. You got some long ass fingers there, man.
We'll see you all
Stop
next
trying
week.
to phone home.
Next week there'll be only a 20-second gap in between Jim Money and the rest of us.
God damn this show. All right, bye.